and you can, if you're registered, and you can put in your questions there. So either way, we'll get those together and we'll address those towards the end of the session. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen at first, and then who would like to share it afterwards once, because we're going to do a transfer so that somebody can kind of drive from there.
I can take it over from you.
Okay. All right. So I'll go ahead and start with mine. And the first part, we'll just go over the team. So we're going to go from left to right in the sequence. So Fatima, you are first. Why don't you go ahead and give a little bit of an introduction to who you are, what you do, and some superpower that you have, or something that you do better than anybody else. But you got to come off mute, because we are not going to be able to understand what you do. Oh, hang on.
Yeah. Hi, I'm a communication and a project officer. I mainly work in the public interest sector, such as charities, NGOs, and sometimes I like to facilitate project and innovation process, specifically for third world project in Africa, Asia, and yeah, that's it. Should I say? And I come from the cultural sector. When I was younger, I was working in the cultural sector. So it's why I like innovation, creativity, this kind of thing.
Do you have a particular superpower that you pride yourself in, something that you do better than anybody else?
I'm quite good to work on a project a little bit complex, with complexity, and where you have to take times and to go through all the different steps. I like this kind of thing.
Got it. Okay, thanks for that. Lee Duncan, Enterprise Design Sprint Leader, Master of Ceremony, so to speak. Why don't you give yourself an introduction?
Okay. As you said, my name is Lee Duncan. That's still the case, confirmed. What I do is I do enterprise design sprints. So as opposed to a typical 5-day process, it's a little bit differentiated in that we approach problems that involve sometimes multiple stakeholders, and the technology can be a little bit more complex. And at times I have to modify sprints. So I would say my superpower is taking on complex challenges and modifying sprints. And another superpower that I have is I try to develop swift trust through humor, self-deprecation, and numerous other tools. That would be my superpower.
I would also add that if you ever got into card playing, you would have an incredible poker face.
That's right. Yes.
All right. Thank you, Lee. Mary Beth, if you could, let us know what you're all about and what your superpower is.
Yeah, so I'm a user researcher at Mercer. Mercer is a global organization of about 20,000, and I'm a user research team of 1, which makes me a user research leader.
There you go. Take it. Run with it. Run with it.
My superpower is, well, aside from walking and chewing gum at the same time, I'm also really good at promoting user research across my organization, and just getting people to realize the value of it. And I'm also really good at just diving in, getting my hands dirty, and trying new methods, which kind of got me into this GVDS. So happy to be here.
And and I can also relate to that, in that I have a very extensive user research background, and I'm very process oriented. So this whole thing about design sprints drew me in, and lo and behold, 2.5 years later, I'm in front of a camera, in front of many different professionals doing this kind of thing globally. So there you go.
Very cool.
Researchers telling you they make the difference. Without a good researcher, you're dead. No, so anyone would like to speak about Joshua? He couldn't make the call, but would anyone want to speak to what he's all about?
Yeah, I will do that. So yeah, Joshua Fraser, he is a senior design researcher, also based in the US. And he was together with Matt, a facilitator also of this challenge, and he had played a key role always since we're a very multicultural team, also basically not only coordinating us, but also making sure that we are aligned and also have the same kind of understanding and double check the sense checking. And he did that very well.
Very cool.
So
He also has a very thick Australian accent, which is awesome.
Are you saying that he should start a podcast up or at least consider it strongly?
He could.
Yeah.
in the
Definitely
US.
Cool. Fatima, please, if you could.
Thank you. I'm a design researcher at QUT and I live in Australia. I think my superpower is that I have a great visual memory. So since I was a child, I never took a note in any classroom. I just remember the board.
Mhm.
I think that's my superpower. And yeah.
You
And
also-
I'm really good at I'm good at doing qualitative research.
Mhm. Yeah, I can back that up. I've seen that. And what time is it over there in Australia?
It's 6:30.
In the morning.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to be greeting that tomorrow when I do a 5 a.m. for the next one on Friday. So morning people and the evening people, both the same. Thank you, Fatima. Mehmet.
Right. Hi together. My name is Mehmet Karakus, based in Düsseldorf, and I'm a design thinking coach. Beforehand, I've been working in digital analytics strategy at Accenture. What is my superpower? I would say that I tend to find and apply unorthodox solutions. This is what I always have been told at Accenture, and that I also like to do structured thinking or structuring the approach to tackle challenges. So this is basically what was being told to me, that this would be my superpower.
You're also a very solid facilitator all the way around. If there was an example of somebody that knows their craft very well, that you'd be one of the people I would name right off the bat, and that have been demonstrated throughout this entire event. So you've got that going for you as well.
Thank you very much.
No problem. And Matt, now, how do you properly say your last name? What's the proper name?
Pupa.
Pupa. Okay.
No one ever gets it correctly. It's a rare Italian name, I guess.
Okay. I just want to make sure that, so I don't offend, I want to make sure I get the names right. So mostly I deal with like really complex Indian names because my wife's Indian. So I just want to make sure it's like Pupa or Pupa, but it's Pupa. Got it. All right.
Got it. No offense taken, but I appreciate it.
Okay.
So I probably have a little bit of a different title than most people in this sprint. I'm a senior data analyst at Pearson. I'm currently in Boston, but as of tomorrow, have a few big changes where I'm selling my place. I'm actually moving to New York City, and tomorrow is also my last day at Pearson. So moving to New York, big life change coming up. So it should be interesting.
New York, huh?
Yep, right into the city.
Interesting. You ever lived or been there before?
Been there, haven't lived, but just wanted to take the jump for a personal change for a little while. So it worked out. I was planning on staying at Pearson, but I think analytics at a large scale company, I've just realized is not for me. So I need to do something a little bit different and see how it goes. So I have some plans, but we'll see how they develop. And then superpower, I would say random bar games, darts, pool. I'm pretty good at that.
I suck at all those bar games. You would have run the table with me. And the funny thing is I've been playing pool since I was 5, and I should know better. I mean, even with the guide or putting a lot of chalk on the end, I'm just terrible at it. I've never been a natural. Bowling, on the other hand, I would bowl you out of any alley in the nation, probably.
I'll take you up on that bet because that's another one I'm pretty good at.
Oh, all right then. You got it.
Robert,
it depends if it's. Sorry, Lee, go.
I was gonna say Robert would bowl you right out of the bar.
It depends if it's kingpin or candlepin, because in the Northeast we only have candlepin. So if it's kingpin, you definitely have me.
Okay. Yeah, it's like the real deal. Like basically, in the Northeast and Michigan and other places, they still have bowling alleys that the auto workers used to go to that smell a reek of smoke. That's where I cut my teeth on bowling, and yeah, I think it is kingpin. We'll see.
All right.
Anyway, anybody that I missed on the team or didn't mention, I think we covered everyone, correct? Yeah. Right. So Mehmet, if you want to, I'll go ahead and stop sharing on my end. You can go ahead and share yours. Go ahead and bring up the same thing we were reviewing just a minute ago. And as a reminder, also for people on YouTube and in Zoom, please post your questions as they come to you. as you're going through the presentation, or as the team goes through the presentation. You can even ask them how might we's if you want, for speculative kind of questioning and see where that goes. But okay, so who is sharing their screen?
I think it's me.
Okay.
So let me get this up.
Oh, wait a minute.
Okay, is this everyone seeing this?
Yeah, I think
Yep.
so.
Good. All right.
You may need to zoom in a little bit or go full screen just so that we can get a little bit more detail on like the stuff we're going to be looking at. I think we'll be good.
Sure. Let me try to go. How do I go full screen? Sorry, my
Oh, you're in Chrome, right?
Yep.
You have to go all the way to the top, and it should give you some options up there. Yeah, that one. Try that one.
Okay.
That'll give you a little bit more room. Okay,
Okay. We go over our sprint challenge.
go for it.
Okay, so our sprint challenge was to think about the circular economy and how we can move from our traditional take, make, dispose economy to one that is more closed loop. So right now, most of society is highly invested in a linear economy, but we want to get to a closed loop where materials, nutrients, and data are continually repurposed. That was our major challenge. And to start off with, we wanted to fully understand how would such a solution look? How could we develop a solution that provides some alternative for it to be restorative, for it to be regenerative? So there was a lot of upfront research and understanding that had to occur before we could start solutioning. We fully had to understand the problem before we could solution it. So that was our wicked problem, our big problem, and that's what kicked off our work.
Okay, so taking it from there. So we started off obviously going through the problem framing exercise, and what we kind of found out was that the people who it affected the most were consumers making purchases. It involved kind of companies that they didn't necessarily have the end of the life cycle in mind at that point. So based out of the problem framing, our problem statement was basically customers and consumers who were buying things that didn't understand the supply chain process and the impact not only that had, or the impact that had on the environment, not only from the production process itself, but also just the effects of the products that they were buying. So coming out of that, we kind of took that into our subject matter expert interviews, and we heard a few different things. We heard things around people just making purchases off of convenience, some making some off of, they're willing to go a little bit higher in price if they know it's more sustainable or more circular because it makes them feel a little bit better, but there is a trade-off there, and a few other things. So what came out of that, we had a few different how might we questions. One was how might we make choosing a more sustainable option more convenient? And how might we make it easier for people to find out the sustainability of a product? So from there, we went through some affinity diagramming and came up with our sprint questions and our long-term goal. So the sprint questions were, can we make the end of his life cycle more convenient for companies? So when they think about the products they create, how they may be recycled and be more circular. Second one was, can we get people to take more action with sustainability data? So help them more understand things about the purchases they're making, maybe how to recycle it. And then the third one was, can we make people's mobilization strong enough to influence the producers? So this really has to do with not only getting people to care about the circular economy and sustainability, but also making sure they're vocal enough about it to actually make some influence and change. So with that in mind, our long-term goal for 2 years or however long it would be is that companies would start creating products with the end of the product life cycle more in mind when they're actually creating the products. So from there, we went into the solution sketching, and I'll hand it over to Mary Beth.
Yeah, so in our solution sketching, we all came up with various ideas on how to respond to this problem of getting people to care about sustainability and therefore influence the producers to produce more sustainable products. And then we voted on our solutions and we all agreed on the winning solution of using this browser extension to accomplish this goal. So the idea with the browser extension was that users would see an ad for the extension after watching a viral video about sustainability. They would then click on the ad and be brought to a page that would explain more about the extension, what it does, how it works, reviews, those kinds of things, and then they would add it to their browser. When they were shopping online, so after adding it to their browser and then shopping online, the browser would kind of show them sustainable alternatives to the products that they were searching for. So it would kind of be omnipresent throughout their search across different shopping sites. And some of the reasons why this solution was chosen was because it was autonomous. As I mentioned, it wasn't just beholden to one site or another. It was going to follow them throughout their search. That was number one. Number two, it used gamification to really show people that even small sustainable choices can add up to a lot of good for the environment, and every little bit helps. Number three, it also included tips about how choosing a non-expedited shipping method and or sustainable packaging were better options for the environment. And then finally, the solution included a method to share the extension via social media, which would help us accomplish the goal of mobilizing consumers to take action and then therefore influence producers of these products. So yeah, so that was the solution. And then I believe Fatima is going to share the prototype.
Yes, prototyping was a great experience, I think, for all of us, because for all of us, it was the first time that we used Figma as a team, or for many of us. And creating prototype was a great achievement. I think was the highlight of our team, because we managed to finish the prototyping in maybe 1.5 days or less than a day. And we used Figma, and at the same time we designed different pages together. Matt, do you want to click on the prototype? If you click on any of these images, yeah. Mm-hmm. So as Maribeth said, our story starts with the ad that user will see on the YouTube page, and if they click, it's basically take them to our Chrome extension page. Do you want to go to the next page?
Mm-hmm. Yep, just tell me as I should move along.
Oh, sorry, yeah. So they are able to, in this page and next page, we will provide more information about our Chrome extension, and then they will download that Chrome extension and install that on their browser. Could you please go to, yeah. So if a user try to, for example, buy a dress, a pink dress, they will search in their browser on Google, and if their first choice or their recommendation that Google provide for them is a page from H&M, for example, if they choose that pink dress, it will take them to, and it will provide them more information about that pink dress. But at the same time, you will see a notification from that Chrome extension that we are able to provide more sustainable options for that search. Matt, could you, yeah. So here, for example, in this example, this dress is 100% polyester, and we know that it's coming from a fast fashion company. And again, we see that notification that we have sustainably have 10 alternatives for this dress. And if a user click on this notification, it will take them to another page with a similar, to another page that has more sustainable alternative, and it shows that with the percentage of sustainability of that product. And it tried to provide some alternative that are similar to the user's choice. For example, when that user chose a pink dress, it will provide a dress with a floral kind of same pattern as an alternative. And when user chose that dress, that pink, that floral dress, we will see that it's 100% organic cotton, and then it shows the percentage of sustainability of that prototype. And after a while, it brings a pop-up, and in that pop-up, it shows different rating that why this product is more sustainable. And if a user don't like, he or she doesn't like that alternative, it provide more suggestion with the same percentage of sustainability. And if the user decide to buy that, they add that product to their basket, and when they go to checkout, next page. When they add that product to their basket, when they go to checkout, they have an alternative or option to delay their shipping because of it, and it explains why it helped the sustainability and having a less carbon footprint, and it also provide user to have to choose more environmental friendly packaging as well. And at the end, when they finish to pay for that product, we use the gamification to encourage our user to use sustainably more often. Yeah. So we thought about introducing the point, and when user buy enough sustainable products, another company on behalf of that user plant a tree somewhere. And we also thought that maybe our user like to share the achievement and the feelings that or satisfaction that they have with sustainably living in their social media. The other things that I need to mention is that our product is not limited to clothes or fashion. For example, if a user decides to buy a kettle or I don't know, a toothbrush, it also provides alternative for any products that user search in their browser. I think I covered everything.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so we did some usability testing on this prototype, and I believe we had 8 people that we tested with. So I'm going to start with some of the positive statements, and one of them was some people liked just how seamless it was, and then it operates in the background, that it's automatic. Someone else said, I really like the idea of someone sitting over my shoulder and guiding me. In our initial user research, people were saying, you know, they just didn't know what the sustainable alternatives were for their common products. And so they were just kind of in a habit of buying what they normally buy. So, you know, the idea of like having this tool to help them was a good statement. Someone else said, being able to choose makes me feel more responsible, like I'm doing something good for the environment. People like the idea of the environmentally friendly packaging. They also like the idea of the loyalty points that I can share on Facebook and encourage more people to talk about sustainability. And then people really like the idea that trees will be planted on behalf of their points, so that they were actually, the sustainable purchases they were making actually were doing good for the environment. And then Fatah, do you want to take this one? The negative statements?
Yes, yes. So some of them have some question. Probably because it's quite new. Few others say they would like to have more information since the beginning. So what is it, this kind of extension? Some of them didn't realize that was an extension, in fact. And when they realized, they said, we would like to know more about it. What is the purpose of it? Where it's coming from? Who is doing it? Some of them was wondering where's the rating coming from? Who's doing this all this analyze and give such advice? Where's that coming from? Is this reliable? Can we trust it? Some of them say they don't know who is Ali Shop. Maybe they have a conflict of interest with the website they are working on. Do this business will let people use such a tool on their website? In other words, do they let them somehow having actions that will ruin their business? If you have to pay, if you buy a dress on AliShop, do you have to do a new account? Can you trust this store if you have to pay with your card? That was some of the issue they talk about. And we realize that they don't really understand the word we were using to qualify or to talk about the sustainability issue, because they don't. That was not. They didn't understand what dimension was behind the word. What we were talking about. If we were talking about a product, content, item, whatever, the component of it, that was not clear. Maybe the influence on the environment, that was not clear, and that makes us realize that we have to work on this on the wording of all the project, in fact. So I think that was the main critiques that I heard about.
Thank you very much.
I forgot something, I don't know. And we realize that is a little thing. We realize when we're doing tests, we have to anticipate technical problems and this kind of thing, how to share a stream or this kind of thing. It was not easy for everybody to do that.
Great, thank you very much, Fatia. Quite some possibilities to improve our solution. But also with the informational statements, I would just like to piggyback on that. Also here, they stated, the users stated that they would probably like to know the steps before downloading. But since we already had the information available, it's just a matter of the sequence when to show it. This is also being echoed by another user who said, okay, well, I wouldn't download it before learning more about it. Another user said that it seems to be like an app for Chrome and not a phone. So basically indicating that the user is majorly shopping via phone. So it could be also one good direction for us to think about. One of the questions is, we have shown a couple of sustainability percentages, but the user was curious about to know, well, what are those based on? How can I quickly see what is the drill down of those percentages? And also, for example, in a similar direction, why do we suggest like those alternatives to the original product and not other ones? Yeah, so that we also let them understand the context of the shown alternatives. And also maybe a comparison of the original selection would be great to understand where sustainability wise, where does that stand? Yeah, what kind of percentage does that have, instead of only showing the alternatives. Another user said, why is a certain dress sustainable or more sustainable? Yeah, so basically understanding the comparability between those alternatives and the original product. And also what we had was regarding the percentages which we have been showing, and then the drill down. We have been doing a little bit more an academic-based naming of the categories and drill down, but of course they were then not able to understand it. So we might want to change it towards a more user-friendly naming of those categories. And also, one user just highlighted that it would be also great to understand how the data is being used and protected. Yeah, since we are also gathering their user data to understand what kind of alternatives we could be showing, we should be transparent with regards to that. Having said that, I would like to give over to Matt for the insights.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yep. So I think a lot of this has been paraphrased in one way or another. So I'll just quickly reiterate a few things. I think probably the most insightful thing for us, and at least for me, was more stuff around the actual product experience of the prototype. I think when we built it, it was pretty clear to us that this was an extension on top of, in this case, Alley Shop as we went through, and it was a kind of an assistant. But what we realized as people went through, there was a lot of confusion, and people really thought that the cart experience they were checking out via Sustainly, our prototype, rather than going back to Alley Shop. So it's one of those things. I think Lee used the term blind spots in one of our meetings. Like, you think you build a prototype and it's pretty clear, but then as people test it, you realize there's so much to change and improve on. So that was something for us. We got a lot about doing a better job of kind of speaking to the journey and the mission more at the start of the prototype, which I don't think we did, but something we can improve on. And then another thing too, that I think Matt just mentioned, just being more cautious and aware about letting people know what we are doing with their data. Because throughout some of the user tests and the SME interviews, trust and being willing to share data is a big thing for people. So with all that said, I will hand it over to Lee for validation and sprint questions, or if we answered them.
Yeah. Overall, I feel like the prototype landed somewhere in between flawed success and successful failure, depending on how you look at it, what lens. I think we have enough information to pivot and create a 2.0 or a 5.0 or a 10.0 on what we originally created. It was enough body of knowledge information gathered. But I also think we had some strong signals in different areas, which could allow us to go in an entirely different direction based on the information. And it's important for us to know that the design sprint really is a smart cut. It's better than a shortcut. It allows us to collect information faster than any other way. You don't have to build it. You don't have to wait. You don't have to spend money. You don't have to burn time. And we did that. We were really successful in getting the required information to be decisive and have insights. And I'm getting a little ahead of ourselves, but I'm really hopeful that this group, since it was a really well-functioning group, and because we got a lot of, again, powerful insights, that we will be able to pull something out of this and create a a micro experiment where we can push something out into the world and make it real and have a truly real impact. So that's something I'm going to keep alive. Anyway, so let's talk about the things we wanted to validate. The first one was, did the prototype answer the sprint questions? Overall, it did. Remember, that's the goal. We're testing a concept. We're trying to learn fast. We're not trying to create an MVP fast. We're trying to learn as fast as possible. Number one, yes. Number two, will the prototype properly address the long-term goal? Or will the prototype, or did the prototype properly address the long-term goal? Not sure, inconclusive as far as figuring out whether or not we could create something that would support a supply chain, that would have an impact on our users' behavior, have an impact on producers' behavior. That is still up in the air. Not enough information to get a firm signal on that. But like I said, enough information to prepare the next experiment to get stronger signals. And number three, do we think we addressed the challenge we took on as a team? No, we did not. But we created a heck of an opportunity to really address meaningful change for the circular economy. So I'm really proud of what this group has accomplished and hopeful for the future.
Yeah, and I'll just build off of that for next steps. Lee obviously mentioned a little bit, doing some type of experiment coming up, but I think more next steps for us, one is figuring out, right, who can and is willing to be involved in the next phases of this. I think, like Lee said, we had a very well-functioning team. I think everyone on our team had a great experience. So that's something we're gonna try to figure out and see what happens. We can always do another lightning decision jam for a V2 prototype of this, see if we want to make improvements, pivot a little bit, see what we do with that. And then if we want to start producing a little bit more content around this, making it a little bit more public, to get more exposure for it. So a lot of things to do. I think a lot of excitement, but just got to take one thing at a time and see where it goes. But I think everyone on this team's really excited and is really happy with the experience. So kicking over from there, I think next is the highlights we had. So I think everyone individually will answer these. I guess since I'm speaking, I'll start off with Josh first because he couldn't make it. So for his, it's hard to pinpoint one highlight. However, hearing how aligned everyone was in the results of the user test was a suitable ending to our GVDS experience. And I would agree with that. For me, my highlight, along with everything I've already said, the team was great. It was awesome for me because getting facilitation practice is something I've wanted to do in a real life setting, and being able to do that throughout the course of a week with a little bit of help from Mehmet and Lee on advice for a new facilitator, that was awesome for me. So I appreciate that very much. So how about Mehmet? I'll kind of point as we move through these.
Of course. Is it my turn?
Yeah, I'll kind of point and go through everyone.
Okay. Right. So for me, I mean, I have been taking part at several groups. So I had an overall impression, and then the question for me is, okay, well, how do I follow up with what I've learned? This was also in part combined with the live sprint I have been doing with Matt and Rakesh. And there, one of course, the challenges as a fresh freelancer is, of course, the topic of sales. And I said, okay, well, it seems to be that I'm not the only one who is having such a challenge. And how can we basically just kick off and start and discuss about this topic? So I started to perform a first LDJ about it, and see on how we could be selling design sprints. The feedback was very nice and very good, so that people were interested in following up with it. So we said, okay, well, as part of that, we will be performing a virtual problem-framing workshop at December 9th. And if someone is interested, just feel free to email me at the email address, or somehow get in touch with me. And I'm happy to include you as well, so that you can take part at digging deeper a little bit into the problem of how we can actually help the client, but also later on get to the ideation phase and have some follow-up.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And yeah, I was in the last LDJ that you did. It went really well. So that was good stuff.
Thank you.
Okay. Fatia, how about you?
I cannot read what I...
I'll zoom in for you.
Thank you. So I really appreciate your experience for many reasons. First, I learned what was a design sprint. I know a little bit about other process of innovation, but I didn't know about this one, and I find that very interesting. I really appreciate to work with this, specifically with this team. I find you very supportive, very patient with me, and yeah, and that was very. I really have a good time, and furthermore, I was very happy to work on such a topics because I like yes. I can commit for such a topics, and more than everyone I did. Yeah, and everybody was very nice and interesting, and thank you to everybody, and yeah, I have a very good time. And I learned a lot. And I was happy also to learn about mural. And because sometimes in my activities, I'm facilitating remote projects. I guess that it is very useful for me to be able to use such approach and such a tool. So it's a full. I learn a lot in different level that will be very useful for me, and I'm very happy. It was very interesting with people that have professional people. In fact, you are all professional, and we have this great mentor like Lee Ducan. So it was great.
Awesome. Great to hear. Okay, Lee, how about you?
I think I've said it before, is 100% the people. I really enjoyed spending time with this group. They're fun, positive, encouraging, hardworking, experienced. Some other words I can't think of. They're those things. Really fun. So absolutely 100% the people. And I was grateful that they had an interest and desire to join me in trying to understand this challenge and trying to solve it. At least get closer to solving. Let's see. The next thing I said, it was great to test my own personal enterprise experience with this team. It's really great to get outside my workplace and meet with people that are innovators and creatives to test the things that I understand to be true. So I learned a lot from interacting with different people, and certainly did with this group. Really enjoyed it. And did I mention fun? Superb fun, like the creative photos, a lot of fun.
Good. Yep, you did mention it, but can't mention it enough. Always good to hear. Okay, so Fatima?
I agree with Lee. Everyone was so dedicated to this team, and I think all of us put our more than 100% to finish this project. And for me, it was more like a master class. It was beyond the normal virtual design experience. And thank you, Mehmet, Lee, and Matt, and Fatima for great questions that you ask from us, and you challenge us based on the critical questions that you asked during this sprint. And it prevents us from going through some biases that we have in our mind.
Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
it was great experience, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you again on this project or any other project, because it was a fantastic experience for me.
Awesome. And last but not least, Mary Beth.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably repeating a lot of the things that everyone else said. But, so yeah, I mean, again, as my first exposure to a design sprint at all, I mean, this was a fantastic learning experience. It's something that, I learned, so not only the method, but, as Fatia mentioned, I'd never used Mural before either. So learning the method and the tool, and there are definitely things that I'm already bringing back to my role at Mercer. So super happy about that. Couldn't have asked for a better team. I mean, it was like, I would go into a mural to kind of fill something in. I'm like, oh, somebody already did that. Like, and so it was just really like, nobody really had to be asked to do things. It was just so collaborative. It was just amazing. I loved meeting people from all around the world who were, even on the Slack channels outside of this team, just being able to collaborate and share. It's just such a great community. And then finally, I don't get many chances to help save the earth. I mean, I do my part recycling, but this was so great. I just feel so much, more accomplished, and I've shared it with my friends and family, and we're recycling even more. So it just feels so good to be able to do my part for the environment as well.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Awesome. Okay, I think that's everyone. Is Robert back in this, or am I still hosting this?
I think I'm still back in this.
Okay, you're back in this. Great.
All the kits are good.
So where do you want me to take it from here?
Have you guys kind of gone over your group shots in terms of what the themes were for each of the ones that you took?
We have not. I don't know if we had a theme, at least a planned theme. Most of it was random, but you can see some ended up. This is a birthday party. I don't know who it may have, even though we didn't officially celebrate Fatima's birthday, I'm just going to say this is for her birthday.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I know that happened during this sprint.
I noticed, yeah, her hat's in your beard. I hope that wasn't uncomfortable.
I survived. It's all right.
That's good. Yeah.
Matthew seems pretty resilient to a lot of different things. If he's
Yeah.
going to New York, he has to be resilient. So that's
Yeah.
that's a character trait.
It's the Boston. You grew up in Boston. You get used to some things.
Yeah. So I've heard.
Yep.
Yep. The second one, I asked if everyone could see my stigma.
Getting real close there, Lee.
Yep.
I thought you were just doing something art worthy.
I don't know what I was doing. Who knows?
This one, we had a mix of jazz hands and just very excited random faces.
I thought it was like a surprise look, like somebody had scared you, because Fatima looked like she was shocked. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
I look awful to be,
Yeah.
but nobody can recognize me. So
It's not better for me, so don't worry.
None of these are glamour shots, that's for sure.
Yeah. I could see the snap camera influence started to come through, especially like Mary Beth having one of my favorite filters of throwing up rainbows.
My fave.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
one of the better ones.
It looks like it gave you a little kind of demonized too, which is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, and you know what's so funny is like I was experimenting. I didn't even know what I was doing, and all of a sudden, I stuck out my tongue because I didn't think it was on. I was like, oh, I do have something. That was another tool that I learned over the sprint, which I think was the funnest tool, most fun.
You're like the rainbow demon.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't know what their customer base is, but I'm curious to know if they get a little bit of a sign up bump during the GVDS, because I feel like a lot of people don't know about it.
Yeah.
So so Leon, this picture was the stigma, like, did it move to the other eye, or were you just trying to figure out there's a light out on the ceiling?
I was looking into the sun. I was doing some self LASIK.
I don't think you need it. I think you've already got enough bionic implants through your work at IBM that you've completely augmented your existence so far.
I'm augmented.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, those are awesome. Super funny.
Okay. I checked the rounds. I'm wondering if there's no one in chat that's posted a thing, and I went onto YouTube and it looks like that's quiet there too. So we got the last 5 minutes to cover pretty much everything you like.
I got a question.
Go for it.
Here's a question to everybody. Where can people find us? Matt, where can people find you?
In New York. I can answer that question.
In New York, yep. I don't know where in New York yet, but in New York. So I am on LinkedIn. I think if you just search Matthew Pupa, you should be able to find me. I also have a Twitter account. I don't really use that much, but it's just Matt Pupa. And I am going to start just I own mattpupa.com, but I think it's something random right now. So I'm actually going to have to build that out. I would say LinkedIn, though, is probably the easiest one.
Yeah. Well, Matt, I think you're next, at least in my frame.
Yeah, same for me. I think LinkedIn is the easiest one, especially in the international area, and professionally seen. And LinkedIn is the best way to go.
All right.
if you go into the mural, where you have all the team, I did that just before, is why I tell you that. You have all the profile with the link. You have a link to LinkedIn, so you can invite people of each team if you want. You have the profile of everybody, and you have the link.
Awesome.
I did that just before to keep in touch with people.
So do we all agree LinkedIn is our fave? Is anyone that does not like LinkedIn? Okay. Done.
I'm going to speak for Josh, too. I'm assuming that's going to be LinkedIn for him.
If you have more, if you want to be closer, we can do a WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
We can do
I
that.
think
Really want to carry on working on that, we can do that. Depends.
I got my favorite WhatsApp, or I got my favorite snap camera like filter loaded. So if we're gonna do that,
you better let's get it going. Let's get it going. By the way, I think Josh said he wanted to be contacted on MySpace. So just everyone.
you know what? I've been looking to ignite the GeoCities account, so I'm really looking forward to doing that.
Yep. Those and Friendster. Yeah, that's where he spends his time.
Yeah.
My God, what a throwback.
I do have to test it with the 15 different variances of Netscape, though. I want to make sure my JavaScript is solid.
Mhm.
Right. So if we are doing a group photo, let's get out of share, whoever's sharing, and then we can go ahead and start of doing. And I will kind of load up Snap Camera for the sake of doing that.
You, Robert, if you want, the Slack is going to be open, Mural and Slack. Can we keep going to have exchange with a team, or it's going to be closed?
No, it's going to stay up. Usually it doesn't reset until the next GVDS, so it'll be up for at least 3 months, I'm pretty sure.
Mural and Slack,
Yes.
both of them. Okay, great.
Yeah, it should be. The only thing that would change is if you had a trial account, then you may get locked out of the workplace. But if you're part of my workplace, you're okay. There's no issues.
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out if I want to be a daemon guy or if I want to go my twin route. Which one do I want?
Oh no, I didn't start Zoom.
You didn't start Zoom?
Well, sorry, not Zoom, but Snap. And you need to start it beforehand, otherwise it doesn't work. It's always a little bit.
Actually, no, you
tricky.
can. You just have to take your video off, start it up offline, and then go back into Zoom, and it should reset.
I actually
1
just
second.
did it without restarting the camera, which, yeah, I feel like before I had the same issue, but I just opened Snap and just put a filter on and it's showing up for me.
Okay, let me just try it. No, it's, some new learning here again.
Learning to the end.
There you go.
Opening it.
Oh my gosh. I actually got confused. I thought someone had hacked your account. I was like, something's wrong.
There you go.
Ah, now it really works.
Almost,
Doesn't, one
that guy's
second,
almost
1
reaction.
second.
Yeah, there's the crab head.
Trying to get something.
That's so awesome.
There you go.
Ha!
That's your trademark logo.
That's the one I like.
Yeah.
Although I think if Fatima tries it, she's going to get blended with the background. So we'll see.
Yeah, this filter was the first one that I saw, so I just clicked on it.
Wow, I'm a Matt. Oh my God.
Wow. You're going full horror show.
Eggplant. Such a classic.
Well, there you go. Now you have eggplant hair, Fatima.
Love it.
Lee, are you doing this or no?
I don't have a filter, so I'm just going to go for it. Whatever happens, happens.
Okay. I think we're waiting for Mary Beth. There you go.
Sorry, I am. I was having technical difficulties.
Okay. Hang on. We still have time. We're still
All right.
I don't find. Sorry about
Or
there
shall I
you
take the duck? I think.
Oh, scary. Very scary ones.
not bad.
Unicorn though. Oh,
I definitely. Oh, Fatima. Yes, that's a good look for you. Just the rainbow unicorn and the duck. Duck. Yes.
I love that unicorn. It doesn't
Yeah.
want.
They did all ducks for one of the shots before. Oh.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Little sock puppet is better. All right, are we ready? Should I take this group shot? Are we good? I
Yep.
have Matthew Peapod, so we're ready. 1, 2, probably just 3. All right, we're good.
sweet. I did a
All
home
right.
alone. Yep.
Hang on a second. Where am I? So, Team Alana, thank you very much for being part of the Global Virtual Design Sprint. Do you guys have plans to kind of carry any of this forward, or at least extend the conversation beyond the sprint? Was there any talk about that doing any of that?
Yeah, so Lee brought it up a little bit. I think there's definitely interest, so we'll probably have meetings to figure out to the extent what people can and want to do and take it from there. But I mean, we said it ad nauseum. I mean, I think everyone was very happy with the team, the work, and yeah, we'll just see where it goes.
Okay, sounds good. Oh, there you go. Now Fatima's got roses. Hey. All right, we gotta do it again. We have a change. We had to change the pace.
Want to do another one?
Yeah, we're doing another one, Lee. You're gonna have to pull up.
Team, you got okay.
You got clown faces. All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, there you go. Okay. Fatima, now Fatima had a rainbow unicorn off. Oh, that's okay. We're fine.
Oh, it's great, great.
I didn't want to put Lee a lot, so I tried
Yeah,
to use
so there you did the lead one. All right, that's cool. All right, everyone, thank you for the showcase. Thank you for showcasing your work. It's going to be live on YouTube. It's going to be on demand over at Zoom, so anyone can watch it in the future. Looking forward to whatever comes out of your extended conversations with what you've done here. Hopefully this was a good time. It sounds like it was. If you have any feedback for me, of course, send it my way because I'll be doing all that next week. But other than that, congratulations to all of you. Wonderful sprint. I think it came together really well. There was a lot of hard work you did, a lot of dedication, and hopefully, this will be something you can carry forward with in your professional careers as well as other things you do. And we'll see you hopefully next year or sometime even before then. All right.
Awesome. Thank you for all the work you did, Robert. Just having your support and all your lessons and all your resources and templates. I mean, it was really so easy for us. So thank you.
It was really awesome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of here. We got places to be. Things to eat, people to
Bye,
take care of.
guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
Bye-bye.